Here are the graduation requirements for the class of 2022. Students need to have a minimum of 24 credits. In those credits, we must include 4 units of English, 4 units of math, including Algebra 1 and geometry, 3 units of science that must include biology, 3 social studies courses, world history, American history, which are each 1 full credit, and government economics, which are a half credit each. A credit of HOPE or other PE equivalent course, 1 performing art course, some practical arts count as well in that category, and 8 electives. These are any courses that a student chooses to take, including extra English, math, science, or social studies, or other elective courses. With the grades in those courses, students must have a minimum of a 2.0 GPA, which is a C average. In those courses, one of them must be completed through online or distance learning. Students generally complete this by completing Government Econ, which has an online component, or Critical Thinking, which is a course students take in conjunction with Driver's Ed class. Students also must have a minimum score on the FSA Reading Language Arts test and the Algebra 1 EOC. These are those minimum required courses scores for the tests. The FSA Reading Language Arts score, students must have a 350 or level 3. For the Algebra 1 EOC, they must have a 497, which is level 3. Students can also get a concordant score. The concordant scores for the class of 2022 are on the SAT, a 480 in the evidence-based reading and writing, or on the ACT, an average of 18 looking at the English and reading sections. Concordant scores for the Algebra 1 EOC include a 420 on the math section of the SAT, or a 430 on the math portion of the PSAT NMSQT, a 16 on the ACT math, or completing the geometry EOC and earning a score of 499 or higher. The grades required, the test scores required for the class of 2022 were raised from previous classes. This was set up when these students were freshmen in 2018, before we had a pandemic. Due to the COVID pandemic, the State Board of Education is considering delaying the implementation of the higher concordant scores. This will be voted on in February. We will let parents know when this is voted on, whether or not the new scores will be available. These are the changes if we go to the previous scores. For the Reading Language Arts, notice the class of 2021, which was last year, those students could have a 430 on the SAT evidence-based reading or writing. The current score required is a 480. Or just looking at the reading subtest, if the student has a 24, that meets the concordant score. For the ACT, the old score is a 19, just looking at the reading section, not a combination of English and reading. Proposed changes for Algebra 1 EOC. The scores for the 4 that are listed in class of 2022, they actually are the same. The difference is that the class of 2021 had the option of earning a 97 on the PERT math. In anticipation and hope that this will be voted on in a positive manner and this will be available, seniors who do not have the Algebra 1 EOC are taking the PERT math. They will be taking it monthly until they earn a qualifying score or until we run out of time before graduation. These are our testing dates. The Algebra 1 EOC and FSA ELA retakes will be in the window of time from February 22nd to March 10th. There was a January PERT test. The PERT will be given again February 22nd. March 8th, there's going to be an ACT for the Algebra and ELA concordance. This is a non-college reportable test. What that means is that all students have extended time to complete the test, but then they cannot use it for admission to a university. But it can count for a concordance score. March 31st, you will see another PERT Math for Algebra Concordance. April 26th, we are offering the SAT for Algebra and ELA Concordance. Again, it is non-college reportable. The only students who will be taking these SATs and ACTs are students who have not yet earned a concordance score or a score on the FSA, ELA, or the Algebra 1 EOC. May 2nd through May 9th, those are going to be senior EOCs. If a student is in geometry, biology, or U.S. history, they will need to take that test during that window of time. These tests do not have a minimum required score for graduation, but they must be taken in order for a student to graduate from high school. Any student taking an AP class will need to take those exams, which are scheduled between May 2nd and May 14th. These are national testing dates. We cannot adjust those. So the students will have to come in during these days to take the AP exams. Remember that students who take AP tests will have the potential to earn college credit. And then you see May 5th, there is one final PERT Math for Algebra Concordance. If for some reason the old scores are not reinstated, we will not be offering the PERT these other days, but hopefully it will. A couple of things we'd like to remind you, some things that can help make students successful. I know we like to think that our seniors are ready to take care of themselves and ready to face the world, but sometimes they need a little extra support. Remind your senior that attendance is vital. We don't want instances of senioritis where a student thinks they don't have to come to school anymore. Students have to be here, otherwise we can't teach them, we can't give them the tests and the classes that they need in order to complete their graduation requirements. If you as a parent have not already set up the parent portal access, particularly if your student is a little behind in their requirements, please set that up. There's a form that needs to be completed, a little bit of registration you need to do online, and then you can access your students' attendance, grades, every assignment, and you also have a direct contact to all of your students' teachers. So please set that up if you have not already. Please do follow up with your student, particularly if they are at risk. And even students who are on track, please check in with them from time to time, make sure that things are going well. For those students who are quite behind in their work, we do have another option for seniors this year called the Bruin Recovery Program at Bayshore. It is designed for students who are missing lots of credits or who have a GPA quite below the minimum 2.0. The school counselor will contact you and your student if your student needs the BRP, the Bruin Recovery Program. Speaking of which, just so that you know who your counselor is, who your student's counselor is, our three senior counselors are Miss Joyner, Andrea Joyner. Her extension at Bayshore is 2011, and you see her email there. She has students who are in the AVID program and also students with last names A through F. Dr. Prentice Heron is at extension 2003, and you see his extension there. Dr. Heron has students who are taking early college classes through SCF or USF. Unless they are in AVID, those students are assigned to Ms. Joyner, and also students with last names G through N. Our third counselor is Andrew Ramirez. He is at extension 2006, and his email address is there. And he has students with last names O through Z.